got another video review for you. Have you ever went to the bathroom and you go in and it's nice and chilly, or you get out of the shower and it's nice and chilly? I hate that feeling. And so I've always wanted to put a heater in the bathroom, just an electric heater I could turn on, you know, if I was taking a shower or using the bathroom or whatever. And so I didn't want to put just like a heater in the floor or set a heater up on the sink, obviously for obvious purposes. But I wanted something that I could just mount on the wall, not have to mess with it anymore. And so I found one that you were able to use in an actual bathroom. Most heaters are not rated where you can put them in a bathroom. And I found this one from Comfort Glow. It's a QWH2100. And so I'm going to be installing it today. Never used it before, never even opened the package. I just got it in the mail, so come along and I'll tell you about it, show you how to install it. We'll see how good it works and just go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and do an unboxing on it real quick. Try to go as fast as I can, guys. No, nobody likes an unboxing. But this heater had some pretty decent features that I was interested in. And does have a remote control with it, which is pretty cool. Comes with a manual, your remote, everything's all wrapped up nice. And you can see that it has a GFCI plug, so you know, if was to get water splashed on it or something, it's gonna turn itself off. And it's got a reset button here, so you can reset it. You know, there's no chance that you get shocked with it, so that's pretty handy. And I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with that. Looks of it, it looks pretty nice. First thing I noticed is the housing here is made out of plastic, so it's not metal. If you was to touch up to it, if it was metal or something, it might burn you. And then you look here on the back, and it's got your two mounting holes on each side, and looks very simple to install. So I'm sure everybody's wondering how long the extension cord is, and I measured it, and it's 6 foot 4 inches from the very end right here all the way to the metal prongs right there. It comes out to 6 foot 4. And if you're wondering how wide the case is here in the front, it measures 17¼ inches. And then from top to bottom, it's kind of hard to measure because, you know, it's flat right here, but then it kind of tapers back. I don't know if you guys can see that, but let's just measure roughly here. It's probably around 19 inches tall, less than 4½ inches thick from front to back. So, you know, 4½ inches this way. You have these little slots here in the back to mount the unit, and you mount it 8¼ inches apart. So they do provide you with these wall anchors. You have drywall anchors, and then you have 2 screws to mount it with, so should mount up really easy. So I went ahead and went into the bathroom and found the area where I want to mount the heater. And so first thing you do is just turn it around, and in the directions it tells you to measure between the screw hole areas where it's going to mount onto the wall, and it says the screw holes are going to be like 8¼ inches apart. Well, you know, you can do it that way, but I found like a little cheap way to do it. I always like taking a piece of masking tape, and come a little closer and I'll show you what I'm talking about. You can see that each side there's like a little raised area right here, and obviously you're going to drill your holes into the drywall and put your anchor in there, and your screw head's going to stick out, and it's going to go in right in here. It's going to hook in right here, and then it's going to slide over and then up, and so it's going to lock in place. And so the best way to mount this stuff that I've always found to make it just easier, and that is I'm going to take a piece of tape, and I'm going to put the piece of tape right there at the top of that little area, and then right here on this side, and you can see right there that I've got the tape pulled nice and tight. And then I'm going to take just a pencil, and I'm going to mark right in the center. Right there is where I need to drill my hole, and right here is where I need to drill my hole. And then I can put the piece of tape on the wall, and I can move the piece of tape around and use a level on top of that piece of tape and get it to exactly where I want it. and keep pulling that piece of tape on and off the wall. And then when I get it exactly, I can just make sure that it's all nice and level, drill my holes, and put your drywall anchors in and mount it up. Now, as far as the mounting height, what I'm going to do is just go ahead and measure down like 4 inches, and that's where I'm going to put my screw at, so that way when you mount it onto the wall, you'll know that wherever that screw is, it's going to be sticking up 4 inches above those screws when it's mounted onto the wall. So I'm going to be mounting the heater in this little spare bathroom. It's just a little half bath. Just got a toilet here, and you know, I don't really have any pictures or anything mounted on the wall. I'm still working on this bathroom a little bit. And anyways, it does get a little cold on this side of the house, just simply because right here, if you look up, there's just a little half vent, really small vent in here, and it does get a little chilly in here from time to time. And so, you know, I'm going to go ahead and mount this heater right in here, this little area. And I'll just be honest, I'm not going to be running this heater if I'm not in here. There's no purpose in it. I just wanted to keep it in here while I was using the bathroom and be nice and warm. And so whenever I leave the room, it's not going to be running. So they do have specified measurements that you should keep it away from the wall. And it has to be so high off the ground and all that. But since I'm only going to be running it when I'm in here, I'm going to put it right where I want it. And I'm going to put it right here in this space here. And that way it'll just fit that spot. And then I have an outlet right here. And, you know, I won't have a cord out in the middle of the open. It'll just be right there on the side. And so I think it'll look pretty good with the vanity in here and the mirror. I've got to go back and paint and all that, but anyways, I think this spot right here will look pretty good for it. All right, guys, so went ahead and put my tape up on the wall and applied my marks there, and I used a level to get everything level across. And so next, I've got it marked here where I'm going to put the holes in there, and it says to use a drill bit. I'm just going to take a screwdriver, a really small in diameter screwdriver that's smaller than the drywall anchor, just to start with. And I went ahead and tested everything to make sure there was no water lines or anything like that behind. And then I'm just going to take and right in the very center of my mark that I made, I'm just going to push that screwdriver through the drywall. And the reason I like doing that over using a drill bit is so in case there was a water line back there and I drill through there, you'd have a busted water pipe. But I've always done it this way and it's worked out. So just like I said, do it real soft and easy. Just kind of give it a twist and push at the same time. And then you'll push through that drywall and you can feel there's nothing back there. And I actually know that the stud is in the very center because I used a stud finder to find the center. And then I'm going to take the drywall anchors, I'm going to put them into the hole just like this. And then once you push them in there, get them started, you're going to take a hammer and just tap them. Just like that. Do the same to the other side. And you can see they're perfectly flush. And then now I'm going to take my screws, put in here, and then when you tighten them up, the drywall anchor will open up in the back and it'll do its job and hold the screws in place. And then now what you want to do is just screw your screws in so they're sticking out of the wall about a ½ inch. And again, this is a very, very simple installation. Alright guys, so I went ahead and took and mounted it on the wall. It went right on up there, no problem whatsoever. And then I plugged the GFCI plug into the wall there. And then next, there is a master turn on switch right here. That's your master switch. And then once you turn that on, you can see right here, it actually just turns the unit on. All right guys, So, like I said, this is a small bathroom, and I've never actually filmed a video sitting on the toilet, but this is a first. So I'm sitting here with the manual and the remote, and I'm just going through learning how to use it. It's very simple. You basically can work it with the remote, or you can actually work it with the control panel, and one is about as easy as the other. So first things first, you're going to hit the red button here on the top. That turns the unit on. There'll be an audible click. Once you hit it on the first mode, you can see that it lights up really bright right there, and it shows like a picture of the sun. You hit the mode button right there in the middle, and it takes it down to low, and then you hit the mode button one more time, and you can see that it lights up a little tree on there, and that's like an economy mode, I guess, where it uses less power. But I'll go ahead and tell you, as soon as the heating elements kick on this thing, you can really feel it. And it really does. It doesn't take long at all for this thing to heat up. And so, so far, I'm very pleased with it. Now, one of the features that I will tell you about is once you turn the unit off, and you'll see I'm going to hit the red button, turn the unit off, you'll notice that the fan will sit here and run. And it'll run for like 3 minutes before it cuts off. And the reason it does that is so there's no chance of fire or, you know, it being hot and melting the plastic or any of that kind of stuff. It's just a safety feature. I thought that was pretty neat. All right, so this button here on top, this changes the symbol here from Fahrenheit to Celsius. And you just click it, and it gives an audible beep. It is a pretty loud beep, so you know, be prepared when you mash the buttons. You'll definitely hear whenever you mash a button on this heater. Right in here, this changes between the different modes. As you can see, there's economy. Again, there's high. Hit it again. There's low. And then right here on the bottom, this is the temperature button. If you want to lower the temperature down, you can. If you want to raise it up over here, you can do that as well. And then right here in the middle, there's a timer. You can set it for how many hours you would like for it to stay on. Okay, you can see right here on the remote control, it's very easy to work. You can see once I hit this button here, this is your temp up button, and it controls it. It changed it to 84 degrees, or I can hit this button right here, and it lowers it down. And I'm going to set it on 70. And then this button here in the middle is your mode. And then right there is your Celsius and Fahrenheit button. And then again, you can set the timer with this. And each time you click it, it goes from 1 to 12. And then once you get to 12, it resets back to 0 and turns the timer off. So, you know, you can use it with the control panel or the remote control. Either one. It's very, very simple to operate. But I'm going to go ahead and kick it up a little bit and get that heater going full blast, and we'll just see how hot that it gets. You can see the heating elements here in the bottom, and they're quartz. And so, you know, just a couple of feet away, I mean, as soon as that thing turns on, you can definitely feel it. I'm probably a good 2.5, maybe 3 feet away, and I've got a infrared thermometer here, and you can see I just turned it on. It's already spitting out, depending on where this hits, 296, 320, 330, 340, 350, and 360, 370. I mean, the longer it's on, the hotter it gets. I mean, it's just climbing up in temperature there. It hit 416 was the highest, 424. So I'm going to give it just a minute or two and see how hot this thing gets. So just stick around. Alright, so I've been sitting here with the infrared thermometer just checking it out, and it got up to 470, and then once it reached the temperature that I had it set at, it kicked off, so I had to kick the temperature up a little bit higher. But you know, you can see that this thing is it's definitely cooking in here. I mean, you can see 382, and there's 395. Can't seem to get it in the right spot, but I promise I had it hit 470 a while ago, and I was shocked that it was got that hot. There was 401. It's hard to hold this thing steady, but once you get this thing pointed right there at one of the two quartz heating elements, because it does have two elements in there, then you know, if you get it right on there, then it shows you just how hot this thing can go. And like I said, 470 was the hottest I've been able to get it to, but I'm starting to cook in here. So anyways, I just wanted to tell you about one other feature here on the heater, and that is the lock mode. All right, so I just wanted to point out before I get into the lock feature that when it's on high, it's using 1500 watts, and then when you switch it to low, it uses 750 watts. And then when you switch it to the economy mode, it can be variable. You know, it uses whatever wattage it needs to achieve whatever temperature that you have it set on. So, you know, it kind of bounces between the two, and you know, it does help you save on electricity and all that. And as far as the lock mode, you know, if you've got children and that you don't want messing with the unit, then what you want to do is just take and hold the two bottom buttons, the up and down button. You just hold them in, and you can see that it locks the unit. And you know, the way that you unlock it is you hold both of them down for just a little bit, and then it unlocks it. Or let's say if you lock the unit and you want to turn the unit off on the side, the master shut off, then when you turn it back on, you can see that the unit is unlocked. So you would have to relock it. But once you got it locked, you know, you should be fine. Your kids can't get in there and mess with any of the controls or turn anything on or any of that. Even the remote, you know, doesn't work. It kind of locks it out when it shut off like that. So that's pretty handy. And then you can take the lock off and then hit your on button and it works. So gotta say, very impressed with the unit. And again, it's made by Comfort Glow, and it is a model QWH2100, and it's a wall-mounted quartz infrared electric heater. Well, I appreciate you sticking around and making it to the end of this video with me and watching me do the install and running through the different modes and features of the heater. And I gotta say, I'm very impressed with it. It puts out a lot of heat, and tell you, it'll run you out of the bathroom in there. And I know that's a small space and that heater should, but you could see the temperatures that I was getting with the infrared thermometer. The thing does put out quite a bit of heat, and you know, I like the timer feature on there and the lockout feature. It's got a lot of cool stuff on it. And plus, you know, to have it mounted up on a wall and not sitting in the floor, it just looks nice and neat. You don't have to worry about, you know, tripping over it or spilling water on it or any of that kind of stuff. Now, where I mounted it and the heights and stuff, where I mounted it up off the floor and close to the cabinets and all that stuff, they have a certain height that they want you to mount it in. And so don't go by what I done. You know, you mount it at your own risk and all that, and make sure you read the directions and all this. I don't want to be liable for somebody misinstalling it. And you know, some of the tips and tricks that I showed you, if you're using a screwdriver to push through the drywall, just be very easy, because there could be electrical wiring behind there or pipes or something like that. But you know, I've never had any problems. I used a stud finder with you know, an electrical and pipe meter on there, so to let me know if there's something behind the wall. So make sure you take precautions and all that whenever you're mounting it. Appreciate you guys watching, and make sure you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you're interested, check out one of these Comfort Glow heaters. I'll put a link down in the description. Thanks for watching.